Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we landed on the moon. And we are of course going to need to do some science-y goodness here. We are going to have, let's see, who do we want to actually have plant the flag? I think we'll have Jeb plant the flag. So Jeb can go ahead and EVA, and he's just going to hop on down here. In fact, Jeb, what are you doing, bud? Okay, there you go. Let's get out of there. Perfect. And we're just going to go plant the flag somewhere over here. I don't really care where it's at, as long as it's a little ways away. This is probably fine. So we'll go ahead and plant that here. That will complete a contract. Fantastic. There we go. Site name, Jeb was here. Jeb was her, apparently. No, we'll fix that. Jeb was here. And the plaque text is, of course, because Jeb is a pilot, is going to read pilots number 1. That's a $sign. Number 1. Wow, I cannot type. Pilots number 1. And of course, because Jeb is a pilot and very, very angry at all engineers and scientists and engineers, number 0. No one tell him about 0 indexed lists, okay? Okay. So there we go. Jeb planted his flag. He's very happy about it. And he will head on back. Jeb's work here is done. So he will get himself up into the capsule. Jeb, as you can see, eschews the use of ladders. He is not a fan. He prefers to fly. Of course, he's a pilot. What would you expect? So we're then going to have Bill here hop on out. Now what is Bill going to do? Bill is going to pin open his inventory, and he is going to store his parachute in the reentry module. He does not need that for right now. And then he's going to store his EVA equipment in the cargo storage unit, and he is going to grab the power generation unit. Okay. Now, Bill is a level 1 engineer. So that means that he is going to produce 2 power units for this. That's perfect, because that's the amount of power we're going to need to run the deployed science control unit and the Guab ED monitor. So he will go ahead and climb down. Of course, he has no EVA pack here. So he will have to climb down. And now he's going to be very, very upset about Jeb, because he has to haul this thing all the way over to that flag. It's very obnoxious of Jeb to go that far away, but he has to run all the way over here. And we're then just going to deploy the power generator. And then we'll have Bob do pretty much the rest of the work from here on. We do have another contract that we need to do, and we have multiple pieces of equipment to set up here. And then we need to head on back. So we're going to have Bill drop off his power generator here. Of course, Bill believes that anything that engineers do is the most important part of this. So he is going to place this as centrally located to the flag as he can. He'll place it right here, and then he will head on back. Before he hops in, he will of course have to pick up his parachute and EVA pack again. That will be fairly necessary. But he'll arrive back there soon enough. I was thinking about the ladder. I was going to say the ladder is too short because we don't have an extendable ladder. So he's going to have to jump for that. And my mind was already processing that statement when I was talking about soon enough. So yeah, he can't reach it, but he can jump and hit his head and bounce off and then hit his head again. So, you know, typical engineer things there. And then he can line up for the jump this time, and there we go. Who needs ladders anyway? He'll hop on in. Perfect. And then Bob will go ahead and EVA. And actually, no he won't. We're going to have Bill EVA again, because we need to clean up Bill's mess. Bill, get back out there. You need to clean up your mess. Get your parachute. Get your EVA pack. There you go, buddy. Finally. Ugh. Always have to clean up after Bill. Okay, Bob, let's go ahead and pin this on open for now, and we're of course going to drop off in the same way. There we go. And we're going to drop the science control unit. Now, this doesn't actually have to be deployed by any particular type of Kerbal. but we will go ahead and deploy it with Bob. And down he goes. What has he actually got equipped here? Is that the deployed unit there? It must be. Okay, well, he'll just go ahead and drop and hit his head. Apparently, whoa. We good? We good. He got up very forcefully there. For a second there, I thought that we might have to swap over and do some changes. But no, we seem to be fine. So, of course, Bob, being a scientist, believes that the science experiments are the most important part of this outpost. But he's not that much of a narcissist. So he's going to place the control unit here fairly centrally located, because the control unit is what actually makes this, you know, function in some way. So he's going to place that right over here by the flag. Yep, that'll do. Excellent. Now, here's the problem. Bob didn't realize this, but this is on the far side of the moon. This does not have a connection to the Kerbal Space Center. So that will need to be fixed. But for now, we're going to head on back. So we're not going to get any of the deployed science from this just yet. We're going to have to put in a relay satellite to be able to relay that information. And we're probably just, like, we're not going to try to put it in any sort of stationary orbit. I don't think that's even possible over the moon. But we are going to put in a communication satellite around the moon that will definitely be in LOS of that. So Bob will now jump on up over here and grab aboard, or grab on rather. And then he will grab the Huab ED monitor and climb on down. The actual experiment needs to be set up now, and this will not be our last visit to this particular outpost. There we go. And he will, of course, hit his head. This time when he got up, he didn't almost destabilize the entire mission, so that's good. And he will just slowly... And then after this, he's going to have to go looking for a rock. And it can't just be any rock. There's a lot of rocks over here, but I think, you see this tiny little speck here? I think that might be one of those that we're looking for. Or there was another one that I spotted out over this way that I think might have been one. At any rate, we need a particular type of rock. So we're going to go ahead and deploy our science experiment here. And we can always move these parts later. It's not a big deal. So go ahead and deploy that there. Excellent. Now, do we need to enable these parts? No, it's already enabled. Okay, good. So that'll be fine. We have no way to get the data back right now, but that is something we can fix later. So we have all of this that happened, world first milestones. We also touched down on the moon, contract parameter complete. We explored the moon, we planted a flag on the moon, and as far as our contracts go, we do still have one. We need to return from the moon for planting the flag, and we also need to get a moonstone. So Bob, why don't you go ahead and get into position here for your big leap. There you go. And you'll just grab on. And you can grab your EVA pack and your parachute again. Clean up your mess. Not like Bill and you have to be told to do that. But you can then let go here and turn on your RCS. And off we go. Excellent. So I believe that this little speck over here may in fact be what we're looking for. So we're going to have Bob float on over there. We're currently going at about 10 meters per second. That's fine. Just need to keep our prograde marker here above the horizon to make sure we're not going to hit the ground. And let's just go ahead and utilize some good old-fashioned altimeters here. There we go. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is a rock that we're looking for. I don't know that for a fact, but it looks different from the other rocks. And so that's what we're going after. Might not be possible to see in lower resolutions, but let's see what we've got here. Currently about 24 meters above the ground, but that's fine. And we'll just drift on over. Adjusting our attitude a little bit here. There we go. And we should probably keep an eye on our EVA propellant. I was a little bit freaked out there when that bar was empty, but it's actually fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a moonstone. Okay. So let's get in position here. And even if we run out of EVA propellant, this isn't going to be an issue. So we're going to be completely fine here. Okay. Can turn off our EVA. And we should be able to interact with this thing. We may have to actually climb on it. Let's see. Pick up moonstone. There we go. So this was indeed a moonstone. Fantastic. I'm glad there was one visible. It can be kind of problematic to find them if you can't see them. But we're going to go ahead and head on back here. Excellent. About 700 meters away. That's fine. We'll just go at around 20 meters per second for now. Nice and speedy. Making sure to keep our altitude acceptable. Trying not to burn too much EVA propellant, but that's fine. About 300 meters to go here. We're going to need to start braking pretty soon. I think we'll brake, well, about when we get here. I think that'll be fine. Actually, we should probably start now. Okay. Down to 10 meters per second. 7. Okay. We'll just turn over this direction. Cool. And we'll head on in. There we go. And in we go. So we've got our moonstone now. We just need to bring it back to Kerbin. And that's great. So at this point, that's everything that we needed to be doing here. We are done in this location. So we can now return back to Kerbin. So we're just going to turn SAS on. And up we go. We are out of here. We're going to go over to 90 degrees because I do want this to be equatorial. There we go. We just need to get a little bit of altitude in our apoapsis height here, and we can go ahead and retract these landing legs. Not like it really matters, but I want to get our apoapsis up to somewhere around 10 kilometers is probably fine. We're at 4 right now, but we are out of here. And our landing site is marked for us, so that's good. We will be returning there, to that exact spot. About 5 kilometers right now. I'm just going to burn purely at the horizon for the present moment. This should be completely safe. And we'll just take this up to somewhere around, I don't know, 50 kilometers maybe? Should be fine. We've got plenty of delta V to get back with. I'm not concerned about that in the slightest. Of course, we're getting almost entirely horizontal speed right now. But as our apoapsis gets pushed further this way, that will be fine. So we are headed back to Kerbin. Of course, we have no connection here, and we are going to need to put up a communication satellite. That'll probably be our next mission, assuming I remember. Hopefully I remember. We've got about 1,000 meters per second left in this stage here. And then there's this stage still. And that's going to have solid thrust to weight. Like, there's not going to be a problem with that. So we're now moving at about 450 meters per second. We're still quite low. But if you look at the actual burn here, we'll be fine. We are clearing the horizon. No problem whatsoever there. Apoapsis height is beginning to increase. You can see it's really starting to push around now. And now it's going to start going up very rapidly. We'll call that good. And then around at the apoapsis, we will just circularize this. So we'll do something not quite like that, but this is not going to require much for meters per second. Oh yeah. We're pretty much orbital now. This needs to be back at 0. I was just trying to change the actual moment we were burning that, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it. So at this point, we could still grab additional science. So we're not too we're not too worried about the science, or rather the warp. We're not too worried about the warp. That's the word I'm looking for. So we're going to warp at about 10x here. We're definitely moving pretty good. No doubt about that. But let's go ahead and orient. This is the direction our burn is going to be when we get there. There we go. We're still in space near the Midlands, but maybe we get a biome. Yes, actually, craters. So Bob will go ahead and EVA and grab that. Fantastic. What else do we have available? We'll continue to warp at around 10x for the moment. Our altitude is getting plenty high. Midland craters again. Okay, far side crater. Bob, go ahead and EVA, grab that. Hello, Kerbin. We are going to be coming for you in a moment. We'll continue to warp at about 50x for the time being. So we are connected once again. Okay. So we're about 3 minutes away, and at this point we will reorient over to prograde. This will be a pure prograde burn. 2 minutes away. It's only going to be a 2-second burn. Or T-minus 2 second, rather. We're 1 minute away from it. We'll take this down to about T-minus 10 seconds. There we go. And we are going to burn this right now. And there we go. That's the solid orbit. And now the question is, how do we want to return home? I believe usually we want to burn somewhere over like here. Or is it the other side? I can never quite remember. Oh, this is fine. Okay, this'll do. So we'll take this down to around 40 kilometers. 60 and 50 and 40. That'll do. Okay, we will position for that. Burn time of 54 seconds. So at T minus, let's see here, 25 plus 2, so 27. And that will be, if I can get positioned, there we go. That burn will be happening shortly. So we'll go ahead and warp towards that. T minus 27. We're about a minute and a half away from that right now. Make that a minute. And we will begin the burn now. Okay, prograde burn. We are burning this direction to go there. Gotta love orbital dynamics. It makes so much sense. It's perfect. Okay, so about 200 meters per second here. We have so much fuel left, of course. We're going to be able to do a lot of re-entry maneuvers. We might even be able to land this whole structure. That would be funny. In fact, we probably will be able to. With all the Delta V we're going to have left, it's going to be a lot, for sure. So we're going to bring this periapsis on down. All we care about right now is that this becomes 40 meters, or 40 kilometers, rather. That's our target altitude. Okay, going to be there very shortly. We'll slow down the burn a little bit. Good enough. That'll do. Okay, and now we will continue to warp until we escape the moon's orbit here. We're in space high, actually, so we're not going to get anything else. We may as well, at this point, just warp to the escape. So that would be here. Goodbye, moon. We are on our way back to Kerbin. There's nothing that can stop us from returning now. We want to switch over to retrograde, I suppose. So let's go ahead and focus on Kerbin, and we're going to do a radial retrograde burn around here. So we're going to do retrograde. We don't actually care about this. It is this periapsis number that we care about, as well as the apoapsis. We'll bring that on down, and then we'll burn a little bit radial here to bring that periapsis back up to around 40 kilometers. We have plenty of Delta V to do this, and we're just going to bring it to around... That's fairly circularized, actually. This is fine. And we can do a re-entry burn then. And we'll be okay with bringing this entire structure back. This is okay. We'll go ahead and orient for that. There we go. Just orienting right here. We'll collect anything that we can here, but I think we already have everything that we could pretty much. Oh, we got the moonstone analysis. Sure. Okay, let's go ahead and warp to this burn. That's going to be in about a day. It feels so fast when you're coming in like that. No doubt about it. We want to burn this at T-minus 1 minute. So we'll go ahead and warp towards that. Okay. And we will burn this right about... now. Cool. So we are pulling back our apoapsis dramatically, and our re-entry speed is going to be a lot lower. Now, I'm not going to stage this, because I think we can recover this entire structure. So we're going to give it a go. See if we can save a little bit of money there. Of course, that's a burnout there, but that's okay. These tanks are... wait, what just burnt out? It wasn't these. Oh, we entered atmosphere. That's what it was. Not a burnout at all. That's fine. So we're going to continue to decelerate here. And we're trying to decelerate in this very particular way, but actually we should switch over to pure retrograde at this point. Okay, there we go. We're moving very quickly, but we want to continue to burn out these tanks for sure. Now we could detach this. And we might. We might yet detach this. We'll see. We're down to 2.7 kilometers per second. These tanks are burned out now. Let's see how this goes. We've still got about another 1,300 meters per second here. Although this is not updating correctly. So that's not exactly true. We'll keep an eye on this. This is definitely a little bit bugged. Okay, sure. Now this is working correctly. Okay. So we're now down to 2.4 meters or kilometers per second. That's not too bad, actually. We'll switch over into radar altitude. 2.3. We've still got some time on this burn here. And we are, of course, stripping off quite a lot of speed from aerodynamic heating. That is slowing us down as well. Well, not necessarily the heating slowing us down, but the heating is a side effect of slowing us down. We're now down to 2.1 kilometers per second. We still have about 45 seconds of burn here, apparently. Okay. Now down below 2 kilometers per second. And we're plenty high. Like, I don't think this is a problem. We'll keep about 10 seconds of burn left in this tank. 1,800 meters per second. Now, we wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have the huge amount of fuel. We wouldn't be able to recover all this, but that's fine. I'm not actually that concerned about it. In the future, we're completely fine with expending this. But we could do this, and so we shall. We're at 10 seconds left on the burn here, so I cut the throttle. And down we go. We're currently about 30 kilometers up and moving at about 1.3 kilometers per second. Our speed is completely manageable. I'm going to go ahead and extend our landing legs here. Although, I think we're going to be landing in the water, so that's probably not going to be... I'm pretty sure we're going to be landing in the water. I don't think we'll need the landing legs. So we definitely don't want to detach this. We'll move that up to the top. Our next stage will be the drogue chutes. And yeah, we're decelerating nice and quick. I like it. Drogue chutes deploy. And in a moment here, we'll be able to deploy the main. There we go. Main deploys. No more staging going to be happening, and we will just physics warp down towards the ground. Or the water, in this case. In fact, since we're landing on water, I'm going to retract our landing legs. There we go. 180 meters per second, and about 4 kilometers to go. Drogue chutes deploy. We don't need SAS on anymore. 600 meters to go. And we're going down at about 13 meters per second. We'll try to slow that down a little bit here. We are now about 100 meters above the surface, and we will start our burn now. Cool. So we did indeed bring the whole thing back. That's fantastic, and we'll go ahead and recover that. This is going to be a ludicrous amount of science that we're going to get, and it will be next episode when we spend that. But we're also going to need to get a communication satellite over the moon so that we can get that science from the far side crater. That will, of course, be fairly important, but yeah, look at that. 545.8 science for it. I love it. Okay, that is wonderful. Let's hop into mission control. Orbital station around the moon. Flag on the moon is something that we will do. We can grab that. Docking around Kerbin is something that we probably will do as well. Science data from surface of the moon. Yes, please. Satellite in a specific orbit of the moon. What orbit is this? Let's see. Okay, moon. That orbit is acceptable to me. We'll go ahead and grab that, and that will be our next mission, getting a communication satellite to grab that science. So let's grab that, and it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to go ahead and position a satellite in a specific orbit of the moon. We need a mystery goo on there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it'll be fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.